All right, so let's get it. Let's mushroom buying guide when it comes to oyster mushrooms. First and foremost, if you're going to buy oyster mushrooms, I recommend that you get them either from an international store or like a natural food store that will sell them by the pound. Now, you can go to Whole Foods and find these. You can go to Wegmans and find these, but they're not worth the price. So for instance, for $5, for almost $6, this package is just as big as my hand. You can't see that I'm holding it, but this package is it's larger than my hand. But when you go to Wegmans, they sell them in small packages for $5, and there are only 2 small clusters inside of it. When you go to Whole Foods, they sell them in those cardboard boxes, which are dope. But for $10, you're getting this is more than what comes in what Whole Foods sells. So I always recommend going to an international store. And the reason it's also dope to buy them by the pound is because they're usually a lot more fresh and a lot more sturdy. So they haven't been packaged away. They're not able to just sit in a puddle of water and rot, and you can pick apart how much you want and, pay for how much you want. So there's also that. Some of the things you want to look out for are, first and foremost, first things first, is it worth the price? Okay? Now, this recently when I went and bought these, $5.80, this was one of the cheaper ones that I seen, but there was like so many more mushrooms inside of it compared to the ones that were $6.50, $6.80, $6.40. So you want to pay attention to, is the quantity worth the price that it's packaged for? You want to pay attention to any discoloration. So these may look a little brown, and it's okay for them to have some browning, like a light brown color. And when I say light brown, like I'm not talking about this part of the mushroom, like this is I guess we'll say like a top type color or something. But when you start getting the pure white part of the mushroom to be a really light brown color, then it's like, okay, it becomes concerning when that color begins to darken, which means it's been sitting for some time. And if the brown spots are wet. So in addition to that, another thing you want to pay attention to is how much moisture is on the package itself. You don't want to find a package that looks like somebody just dunked it in water and pulled it out. Okay? The reason I say that is because the top layer of the mushrooms will look absolutely fine. You may find, look for key clues. Do you see any dark spots in the mushrooms where water is gathering? You do not want to bring those home. But the bottom layer of those mushrooms, once you take them out the package and you flip them around, rotten. Spoiled, rotten. You're not going to like them. They don't smell good. They won't taste good. They don't look good. It'll be a horrible experience if you even decide to bring those home with you. You'll be wasting your money. I don't care if you're wasting $5, if you're wasting $10. Don't waste $1 when it comes to buying these, when you can buy them in abundance, okay? Don't waste your money on them if that's how they look. Look through all the other packages and see if you can find something better. You want to pay attention to the clusters themselves. So I guess this would be, did I already say quantity? But the number of clusters in the package. You don't want to buy a package that has 5 oyster mushroom clusters in it, but then they're all wilted and brown. You want something that's got some sturdiness to it. A mushroom that looks vibrant, It looks like it's full of life. It looks like they just picked it up out of the ground. You don't want to buy something that looks like it's been sitting at the back of the factory for a week and a half, and they're just trying to make, ends meet, market sales for the month. You don't want to touch those. Anything else? Those are the main things that I can think of. you know, and use your own judgment. Like I said, me personally, I'm not going to spend over $7 for a pack of mushrooms. Ideally, I would like to keep it below $6, but $5.80, $6.50, you know, between $5.50 and $6.50, that's a good range to stay between when it comes to buying these, because so much comes inside of them. One pack is enough for one person. One pack is enough for a couple, you know? And when I say like two people, so you can get 2 meals out of one pack. So $5 for 2 meals, you know, that's bingo right there. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to get these. You don't. It's not worth it, and it's not necessary at all. So, like I said, I always recommend going to an international store where you can see the mushrooms. Buy your mushrooms when they first putting them out, you know, first thing in the morning or whatever day that they restock they produce. Get them then. Don't wait, because once you start getting the back end of them, they'll try to repackage them and put a better date on it just because they look fresh. You don't want to go through that. You don't want the ones that look like they've been all rummaged through and tossed to the side because people thought they were bad. You don't want to deal with those. And same token, if they've just been sitting in the humidity inside the store, no matter how cold it is, they're sitting inside this package. They still have to breathe. They're going to generate water. Mushrooms already have moisture inside of them. It's going to start leaking out. They're going to sit in a puddle. They're going to rot. Don't fucking do it. Get them fresh. If you can buy them by the pound, that's even better. That is worth. Now, those will run you $14 to $15 a pound, but half a pound is honestly enough. Half a pound is enough for whatever you're gonna need. I kid you not. Half a pound. I can't see how much this is, but these are like $5.99 or $6.99 a pound, something like that. So half of this, like I said, these packages, you can get 2 out of these. So you cut that in half. But buying them fresh, you are gonna pay more. You'll pay more because of the store it's also at, but that's also recommended because you can have your way with them as opposed to somebody else packaging your food for you. So that's part 2 of the mushroom buying guide. Last video was baby bella mushrooms. I need to make one about the actual portobello caps. This one's about the oyster mushrooms. And I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side.